Well, hello, everybody. I'm Alan Masters from Foundation of Human Understanding. This is the Sunday Conversation, and I have something to tell you. It's the liar lies. Now, a lot of times when I come in to do this talk, I'll have just a couple of words that have been put in my heart to talk about, and then I will go all over the place. And I see your comments. I know I go all over the place. I think I'm just like my dad in that same way. I used to think he goes all over the place. Sometimes you got to go all over the place. But the reason why I want to talk about the liar lies is because I think at our nature, we want to be honest human beings. When Adam and Eve were first put on this earth by the Creator, by God, He gave them the Garden of Eden, and He gave them a little set of rules. He says, you can do whatever you want to do in here and eat whatever you want. He says, but don't eat of the tree of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. And they're like, yeah, cool. So there they are, naked, frittling around, just enjoying life, and it was their domain. They were kings over everything in the world. You know, the lions and the tigers and the birds and the bees and everything that was going on. And Adam and Eve were it. But then comes along the liar. I don't even know that they knew how to lie before the devil came along, before the serpent came. But it's that innocence that little children have, and then one day you catch them lying, and you're like, hey, where'd that come from? Well, that serpent is slithering around all over the place, and we just don't notice it. It's in our own homes. It's in your own head. But we are born to be honest. We want to be honest. We yearn to be honest. But, that's right, the big but. But we forget how, because guilt, because we've lied so much to ourselves, to our loved ones, to God. We've lied. And then we keep on lying. And who are we paying homage to by the lies that we tell? The dark side. So I was thinking, what should I talk about today? A week goes by like that. It's amazing how fast the week goes by. I remember hearing my dad say, it's another week. Another week has gone by. And I'm like, what's he talking about? But I think you get into this realm in life as you get older where time just speeds up. And now I'm 60 years old and I'm looking at the weeks and they're going by like hours. I remember the old joke about the man that wanted to borrow money from God. And he says to God, he says, what's $1 million like? And God says, $1 million is like a penny. He says, wow. He says, well, what's 1,000 years like? And God says, 1,000 years is like a minute. And that's kind of how it feels as you're getting older. Well, the rest of the joke goes along, and it's the guy says to God, he says, well, if $1 million is like a penny, he goes, can I borrow a couple of pennies? Can I borrow a couple of $1 million? And God says, sure. Wait a minute. So it depends on where you're coming from, right? Time to God is nothing. Time to us is everything. And when you're on your last breaths, those final few moments when you want to make up for what you've done wrong, but you can't because it may be kind of too late, other than to repent and say, I'm sorry. But as we get older, we look, wow, I've done so many things wrong. I've made so many mistakes. I've lied so much. And then the devil comes in, he slithers in. It's just like we do this on the radio show. It's funny with the sound of the snake. But the devil comes in and says, it's too late, which is a lie. But remember, the liar lies. It's never too late. Many of my friends along the path of life, they've come upon hard times. And maybe you have too. I have. And they say to me, you know, I don't know if I can take it. I don't know if I can stand it. And I think to them, well, they're believing the lie. And if you don't think you can hack it anymore because life is just so horrible, we've made life so horrible inside of our own heads that life doesn't seem worth living, it's because you're starting to believe the liar. And again, you don't want to pay homage to the liar by believing his lies. That is a hopeless way of living. God brings hope, and he says you must repent from your sins and follow me. It's a pretty simple thing. That's what Jesus said. He said, let the dead bury the dead. Come with me. Sometimes you just have to just look at your life and say, you know what? I have really screwed up. I've screwed up a lot of things. And inside my head, I hear, and maybe you don't even hear it in words, it's just thought words. You hear, God won't love you. You've done too many things wrong. You have gone too far down the path. But again, the liar lies. That's what he's supposed to do. So I always tell them, I always say this, I've said it 1 billion times, and I'm going to say it 1 billion more. The liar lies. If you look at our political world right now, everything these liars are saying, everything that they're accusing you of, is what they're guilty of. A perfect example is Gavin Newsom from California. He says, wear a mask, social distance. What does he do on his birthday? He goes to the most expensive restaurant he can find and with 12 of his favorite people, and he breaks all his rules. He does everything he tells you not to do. He does. Because the rules are not for him, they're for you. The liar lies. So, I guess, where I'm going with this is that every single day of our life, every waken minute, and many minutes while you're asleep, the liar, the serpent, is there telling you lies, causing you to doubt, casting fear, his shadow, which even the shadow is something that he wants you to be afraid of. The shadow is nothing. You have to have light before you can have a shadow. So what I realize is that as soon as I was able to really grasp a hold of that the liar lies, that's his job. His job is to make me doubt. As soon as I could grasp a hold of that, my days got easier. Because I realized that inside of my monkey brain, inside of my human head, is like a whole nother voice that isn't me. It isn't me. It's the liar. It's the serpent. It's the dark side. It's the dark force. It's the hive mind. And so I just was thinking, I just need to repeat this. And it's something that we could repeat it often because we forget about these things. We get so busy with our problems, get so occupied trying to solve them that we forget, oh, wait a minute. I've got to learn how to be still and know that he is God and not that voice in the head. So that was the main thrust of what my talk was going to be about today, was this liar. This liar that's inside of all of us. And then I started thinking about anger, because so many of us right now are angry. We're angry at injustice. We're angry at, oh my gosh, any number of things. It's just so vast, this anger energy that is in the ether, that is being almost like, you've ever seen those smoke machines where they pump smoke to make things look eerie? This is what's going on the dark side right now. The devil, Satan, is pumping out anger into the air like the smoke machine. And people are breathing it in, and they're inhaling this anger, and they're feeling it. And you know what it does? It grows. If you don't recognize anger when you start to feel angry, if you don't go, wait a minute, I got to control. Whoa, pull back on the reins. I got to control this anger. I got to take a look at it because it's not me. Pull back the reins and say, whoa, baby, this anger is not me. I don't want it. I'm not going to house it. I'm not going to allow it. I see you for what you are, devil, in essence. Because this devil will use whatever tools he can, whatever tools are available to him, north and south, east and west, and everywhere in between. Anger, greed, lust, hunger, a hunger inside of you that you don't even understand what it is. If you don't question it, you never will. What hunger is it? Are you hungry for food? Are you hungry for sex? Are you hungry for a fight? Sometimes all three of them. Have sex, have a fight, and then go eat. Any one of those numbers will work in any order. But there's a hunger inside that we don't want to know what it is. Have you ever noticed that? That it's like you don't question. I'm just pissed off. Why? I don't know and I don't care. Just leave me alone. Really? You don't know and you don't care? Just leave me alone? It's not alone that you want to be. It's not alone at all. It's you want to pick a fight. And if it's not with this person, it's going to be with that person. If it's not with that person, it's going to be with the dog or the person on the phone or whatever it might be. You will find a fight and pick it and have your way you shall. What good comes out of it? You see it happening. It's playing itself out all over the place. You watch the news. There's people out there that are just, they can't get enough of socking somebody in the head, tripping somebody, spitting on somebody. The evil, fake mist is in the air. Because it's only alive when you give it life. Because you didn't question it. You didn't say, Lord, what is this anger? Like a little kid. Back to the little kids, back to the Garden of Eden. They were naked. They didn't know they were naked. I was talking about this with somebody, I don't know who it was, and I said, there was a dog. I said, imagine if the dog one day woke up and realized he was naked. Well, he's got fur to cover his body, but he's still naked. What's he going to do about it? He doesn't have the same choice to clothe himself. Doesn't have choice the way that we do. A dog, an animal, is born with instincts, and it follows those instincts the same way as an insect, the same way as a blade of grass. We human beings have choice. We have the ability to question, to ask questions. It's interesting how we don't even want to know. We don't even want to ask ourselves, why am I doing that? Who are you saying that to? Why am I doing that? Who are you saying that to? Just asking the question. Ask it of yourself. Stop yourself. Stop dead in your tracks. I was coming down the hallway this morning. This is kind of funny. And I closed my eyes, and I was walking along, and we have a kind of a long hallway, and I was only 2 or 3 steps into it, and I thought, I bet I could walk this whole hallway without running into anything, with my eyes closed, without even thinking about walking, and my feet will keep on going unless I command them to stop. Command myself to stop. Isn't that interesting? There are so many things that we do that are just nature and natural. We get up, we sit down, we go to sleep, we wake up, we brush our teeth, we do things that are just becoming habits, and we're not even conscious of why we do them. And it's a good idea maybe to ask. Because the answer to that question is actually quite interesting. Because I am in control of myself if I become conscious of it. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like the animals. I'm subject to my environment. I am subject to my environment instead of being in control of my environment. But if you're not conscious of it, if you're not aware, if you're just living your life acting out your emotions, angry, happy, sad, frustrated, which leads to anger, scared, fear, angst, anxiety. And each one leads to another, and it becomes a horrible Gordian knot that's all tied up inside of you, and then you feel it. You feel tied up. I don't want to feel that way. Do you want to be free? And do you want to understand life? You've got to ask questions. So I'm walking down the hall, and I said, stop walking. My body didn't stop walking. I thought, well, it's not my brain that can tell my body to stop walking through my mouth. And even, I didn't say it, but I said it in my head. I was, for a moment, going, what if I just said, stop walking? And I continue walking, and I went, well, isn't that weird? That something else has to happen. Some higher nature has to kick in order for you to kick out of that animal instinct to where you're just doing what you've done every day for the last 20 years. Most of us are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. Been doing the same thing every day. Get up, go to the bathroom, maybe take a shower, get dressed, go in, make a cup of coffee, have a bowl of oatmeal or whatever it is, check this, that, and the other around the house, turn off the lights. This is my routine. Go out to my car, start it up, it's just, I do it without even thinking. It's an unconscious thing. I get to work, I go in, I check my email, I say hi to people. Should I bring something to work because today's a special day? I have a tiny bit of conscience, a little itty bitty bit. Somebody's birthday, oh, maybe I should go get him a cake. No, a donut will do. No, I got some Hershey's Kisses in my drawer. I'll give him a Hershey's Kiss. But, at some point, you've got to come alive. Your consciousness has to come alive, and you have to sit back in that chair and say, who the hell am I? Or am I just a product of my environment? And when I start thinking about it, the serpent slithers along. And he says, don't think about that. Don't think about that. You don't want to know. You can't handle the truth. But maybe you can. It's very interesting. Here we are, human beings, with a God in heaven that gives us something called choice that no other animal has. Nothing else on earth except us. And we don't take advantage of it. We just exist each day, every day, every day. Another week, another month, another year, another decade. How long do we go before we go, stop? Stop. I'm tired of being that thing that I've created. The environment creature that is subject to the environment. Whatever you put me in an environment, I will morph just a little bit to fit into it. We are kind of like lizards that can change colors to fit into an environment. I don't want to be like that. I want to be in command of my environment, command of myself. I want to be conscious of what my Father in heaven wants me to do. There is a consciousness. Maybe it's what my father writes about in his book, The Parallel Universe. Because there are people that are just completely like cyborg. They're like animatronics at Disneyland. They just keep moving out these same exact things over and over again. And if you go to Disneyland, and if you remember when they used to have an Abraham Lincoln, I haven't been there in so long. We used to go watch Abraham Lincoln, and there he was 87 years ago. And it was the same thing, and it was very mechanical looking. And now we see Mark Zuckerberg, who looks like Mark Cyborgsberg. He's so He's a billionaire, and he looks like some sort of a animatronic subhuman creature. And when they were asking him and the other guy, Dorsey, from Twitter questions, they didn't have a clue. There were real people like Ted Cruz. I was watching that whole thing, and I thought, Ted Cruz, now there's a guy who's got courage. He's got wisdom and strength of character to deliver it. And he asked these questions, and this guy, Jack Dorsey from Twitter, just goes, I don't know. It was like, are you serious? Who's home? Nobody's home. Empty monkey brain. Either that or smart as a fox. They know what they can get away with legally. The thing is that we human beings are so gullible. We're so gullible. We want to believe. We want to believe people. We want to take them at their word. We want to believe when they say yes or no when you ask them if they've stolen something. No, I didn't steal it. Or we want to hear the truth, which is maybe, I needed some money and I took it. I'm sorry. But that's not human nature. Human nature is to lie, to blame. Blame, 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 blame. It's always somebody else's fault. I think I talked about that last week. It's just this blame game is just horrible. But we don't stop when we're just getting out of bed in the morning and saying, all right, today is going to be the first day of the rest of my life. Because today, I'm going to think in a higher nature, from a higher plane to where I can see over the top of the other people that are just all hunched over in their life, looking down. I remember when I was a little boy, I used to walk along looking at the ground, watching my feet. And my dad, one time, I was holding my dad's hand. I was probably, 7, 8, 9, I don't know, whatever I was, but I was holding my dad's hand. And my dad kind of jerked my hand and he said, what are you looking at? And I said, I don't know, just looking at my feet. He says, why are you looking at your feet? Quit looking at your feet. Look where you're going. Look where you want to go. And I thought, okay. And so I lifted my head and I started looking where I was going. And it's like the whole world was a different place. Later on in life, I'd start taking driving courses to be like a race car driver because I love cars. They're just fun. And one of the things they taught me, they said, when you're driving a car and you're going around a corner and there's a wall coming up, don't look at the wall. Look where you want to go. And if you're going to steer away from the wall and you need to steer this way, don't look at the wall because you're going to drive right into what you're looking at. Look where you want to go. So you turn the wheel and look in the direction you want to go, and your body will follow if you look where you want to go. And it's so funny because we don't even look. Our eyes are open, but we have eyes, but we cannot see spiritually. So we just kind of have them half-mast, hanging there, not really caring because we have no hope, because the liar has lied and told us that we'll never make it in life, we'll never amount to be anything. So the head slowly but surely drops lower and lower until you see the old people. I go visit my dad. He's 92 years old. And what do I see? This bright face. Hello. I'm so glad to see you. And it's just like, he's alive. He's not just sitting there staring at the ground, waiting to go in it, waiting for it to open up and swallow him up. He's not gonna. He always says to say hello to everybody, so hello for my mom and dad. But it's so interesting this morning. I wasn't even thinking about telling you this. It was just something I did because I closed my eyes and my body just kept right on walking, and then I told it, stop walking. And it didn't. And I walked right around the corner. I went right over to the coffee machine and pushed the button. Grinds the coffee, and I know right where my cup is. I just pick my cup up. And all these mechanical things, Alan animatronic was just working out until the higher nature, the spirit Alan, said, what's going on here? I'm just living on this world, and I'm part of the world. I am part of the world. I want to be on the world, but not of the world. I have fallen into the hive mind, like many of us do, until such times we go, wait a minute. I am somebody. I have an original thought. I can think for myself. I can see with my own eyes. I can smell and I can hear and I can taste when somebody's doing something wrong. Because I can see it with my own eyes. Until the liar comes along and says, who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes? Right? So on the show this week, we talked about everything that the Democrats are accusing the Republicans of, they are already doing and are guilty of. They are giving away what they're doing by accusing you of it. So when they accuse you of cheating, that's what they're doing. When they accuse you of stealing, that's what they're doing. When they say this is going to happen, it's because they're doing it, and it's going to happen, but they're going to blame it on you. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at in this world right now. And I've been dealing with it in my life. I've seen it. I got to the point where I thought, I can't believe he or she is willing to lie like that. How can they lie so easily? Well, we all can. It's a choice. It's easy. You just blow out a breath and lie. I'm worth $1 billion. Yeah, me. No, I'm not. But see how easy? You could just blow it out. It's a strange thing. Lying is so easy. Until you adopt, until you grasp the importance of not praying to Satan by telling lies. Because every time you lie, you are saying, Satan, I am yours. It's a reverse prayer. Tell the truth will set you free. Tell a lie and be ensnared by your lies. That's how it is. You could say, it's just a lie. I had a guy say to me one time, why don't you do this? Nobody will know. It's not like you're going to lose a finger. And I went, wow. He can lie so easily. He wants me to lie. And I thought, no, I may not lose my finger, but I'll lose my soul. I don't want to lose my soul. I don't want to gain anything. Ill-gotten gain has got no value to me at all. I want to work hard and provide a good service and make a good product and be honest with how I deliver the product or the sale of whatever I'm doing to make a living. And then when I get paid, I want to be wise with the money because I can appreciate the money that I've worked hard and earned. How can you do that when you're getting a handout? When you've done nothing, you sit on the couch, indulge in all of your lower natures, and somebody gives you a check every month or every 2 weeks. Where is the nachas, as my dad calls it, the good feeling of your heart, of accomplishment, of that you know that it's good by getting a free check from the government? There's no good there. So guess what? What happens is eventually you get bored, you get upset, and you're pissed off and angry because you couldn't have your way for whatever reason it was. They didn't have vanilla ice cream. They didn't have Tutti Frutti, whatever. You're pissed off. Then what happens? You want to take that anger out on somebody else and spend your hard-earned anger. You've earned it. You've suffered. I've got anger. I've suffered. My anger needs to be spent now because it's all I've really earned in my life is the right to be angry and hateful. Oh, really? So you go out into the world and you spend your anger onto somebody else, cause pain, and that's how the underworld continues to perpetuate. Hate gives birth to more hate, gives birth to more hate. And it's a domino effect into hell. Versus, what did Mother Teresa say? You want to change the world? Go home and love your family. You want to change the world? Mother Teresa, go home and love your family. I'll tell you what, it's so interesting. We've forgotten how to love. We've forgotten what love is. We don't even know if we know what love is. But the little that we know about it, it's almost forgotten. Because we've filled that void because we were not loved. We say we were not loved, even though Jesus loves us and God loves us. But they're not going to give us that warm and fuzzy kind of love that people hunger for, which is not love at all. But we've forgotten what love is, and then the void of love, we've filled it with other things. We've packed ourselves full of other things. We created a void and we hated it. Oh, so guess what? The hate goes in, and it's the glue that holds us together. The glue that holds us together, the contempt we have for each other, the contempt we have for the world, for our parents, for our husband or wife or children. It's very interesting. We become cesspools inside. It's a very sad thing. All because the liar lies, and because you have believed the lies, and you have spent your life believing the lies, giving homage, paying homage to Satan by hating, judging, resenting. None of these things are from your Father in heaven. He says, forgive. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Love your family. That's how you change the world. So you have a choice every day. You wake up. Do you just put on your animatronic suit, get up, go live your life, never question? Or do you say, today is the first day of the rest of my life. I'm going to today be different. I don't know how. I'm going to ask God to give me the strength. I truly desire to see, Lord, what you want to show me, what you have for me, not what the devil has for me. Because I know what the devil has for me, pain and suffering. Woe is me. Too many people live their lives day after day, rotting, just rotting inside of themselves. And they wonder where disease comes from. I don't wonder. I look at the things that I've done in my life and I think to myself, well, I surely deserve that because I've eaten, overindulged, too many Hershey's Kisses, whatever you want to say, too many cheese puffs, Fritos, whatever it is that we indulge until one day the gallbladder pops and you're like, wow, I don't know why that happened. I thought I was a healthy guy. My gallbladder popped. I almost died. It didn't pop. It just got a stone in it. But a stone made out of what? Made out of 10,000 soda pops or whatever. One grain of sin at a time. So I really appreciated my time in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 4 days. I've told this story. But boy, I got to lay there and just think about life. Why is it that we wait till we're in a hospital, on our deathbeds, in a car crash, whatever horrible thing has happened? Why do we wait till then to say, God, what happened to me? Why am I here? Why do we wait so long? Why? This is a question you got to ask yourself. Why do you and me, we wait until we are in pain or suffering or about to die, and we face that moment of truth. What if you chose, so I'm compelling you to choose, what if you chose to say, I want to be alive, awake, clear thinking, and conscious? Conscious. I said it today. I said it to somebody. I said, conscious. And I went, conscious, 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 conscious in my head. What does it mean to be conscious? I described it. The difference between being the animatronic Alan, just living my life day after day, week after week, year after year, so on and so forth for decades, because I'm 60 years old. I feel 30 years old. I actually feel 20 years old, but I'm 60 years old. So I go, did I fall asleep? No, because I remember being awake and living my life and having children and now grandchildren and businesses and people and things and cars and boats and houses. But why was I so asleep in that parallel universe? I could hear the truth. I could hear my Father speaking the truth over like a speaker in the background. There it was, always throughout my entire life, the same way he was on a speaker in your car or in your computer talking to you for the last half a century, and yet I had not woken up yet. Why? Because I had not chosen to wake up. The choice is yours. And it ain't going to happen on its own. God is waiting. He's given you all of these wonderful tools to reach Him, to understand Him, to be able to hear Him and be conscious of Him. They're right here. I got a couple of them. I got a pile of these suckers. Doesn't do me any good unless I choose Him over Him. So, every day now, I look at my life, I look at my anger, I look at my desire, my need, my hunger, my hanger. Because sometimes you're hungry and you're angry and it's your blood sugar and there's chemicals and you say to yourself, well, I'm just hungry. And then you start reacting kind of crazy and it's like, catch yourself. You got to catch yourself. Because nobody's going to slap you in the face and say, wake up. That's what this is, right? That's what my dad has been trying to do for 55, 57, 58 years, whatever it's been. You got to catch yourself. This is called maturity. I am so happy to be becoming mature finally. Finally. And I feel like I just woke up. Like, I have a grandson. He's 2.5 years old, Owen. He's more awake in his own way than I am. You know why? Because he's 2.5 years old and he's just learning words and he's just starting to understand anger and fear and frustration. He's just starting to understand these things the same way that I am. The difference is he doesn't have 60 years of baggage to carry with him. 60 years of sin, 60 years of gluttony, hunger, lust, whatever else you want to throw in my bag of tricks that looks like the one the Grinch stole Christmas had on his back that was as big as a bus behind him. That's all of us. It's hard to be innocent when you've got that bag on your shoulders. It's very hard. But when I choose to be conscious, it just disappears. It disappears. It's like Well, where's all the stuff the devil was talking about? It's not like we say that because we don't even know we're thinking the devil says all these things, but that's the consciousness. That's the cartoon version of the consciousness. Well, the devil told me this and that and this. It was all lies. It was all the liar lying. That's what he does. He's built into our world. He was put in this world to help us, believe it or not, to help us make a choice. Otherwise, we'd all be living in the Garden of Eden and everything would be great. And God would make these perfect little clones of each other and him, and he wouldn't really have the ability to separate the wheat from the chaff, the good from the not so good, and the good from the evil. And because there's all levels to each in his own time and ability of us coming through this thing called life. But the devil is there to help us. And the reason is because we need him to tempt us to be able to step back, become conscious and say, oh, wait, this is what I've always heard of. This is the devil. This is evil, the spirit of evil, trying to pull me away from my Creator in heaven who loves me, who created me, who loves every cell in my body, and beyond the cells in my body, loves my soul that is to the next level. So, I don't get angry at the devil anymore because he's doing his job. I just look at him and see him for what he is. See his games he's trying to play, his lies, the liar lies, his deceptions. I see so much more because I'm conscious. And now, I may not start out my day conscious. I may get up, walk into the bathroom. I'm 60 years old after all. I got to go to the bathroom early in the morning. Walk in there and do my business and then get out and I need some coffee. And I'm like, wait a minute. Come on now. Come on. Come on now. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Some of us want to be in that sleep state. They want to be looking down at the ground, walking along. Not me, baby. Not me. I want to be awake. I want to see what God has for me to see in his timing and not my own. I'm patient. God will show me. God will put in me, in my soul, beyond the cells of my body, put in my soul my purpose, and I will follow it. And guess what? No extra charge for extra baggage because I ain't got any. Because I'm not gonna believe the liar anymore. I've told so many of my friends, the liar lies. The liar lies. Don't believe him. Don't believe a word he says. He's the most convincing attorney. He's the most convincing storyteller. And he attacks you when you're asleep, when you're awake. He'll give you pleasure in your sleep. Ever had that? Pleasure in your sleep? Oh, yeah. There's no time when he can't get at you. That's why even when you're sleeping, you have to be conscious. And it's funny because I honestly could go to sleep in less than 30 seconds. I go to bed, I turn out the lights, my wife gets in bed, and if she doesn't have something to talk about within 30 seconds and we don't have a conversation, and even when we do, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to sleep now. Good night. I love you. God bless you. And I'm done. I'm done. Honestly, I feel like I fall asleep in 10 seconds. And then I'm going to sleep all the way till my bladder wakes me up because I'm 60. But I know, I hear what you're saying. Apple cider vinegar, it works. It's wonderful because I hear the collective soul speaking at me. So it's funny. But I sleep well. But even in my sleep, I see things floating around. That fake smoke machine I was telling you about, here it comes creeping in, the smoke. Conscious, even in your sleep. See it. See it for what it is. Wake yourself up. Say, oh, no. Because while you're sleeping, you say to yourself, well, it's only a dream. It's only a dream. She won't know about it. Nobody can see inside of here. Oh, he can. So as a man thinketh, so shall he be. And in your sleep and in your dreams, if you indulge, what happens when you wake up? It's a good question, isn't it? What happens when you wake up? Memories. Memories of the dream. Ooh. The consciousness is pulled down, 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 down. This is a very important point. We must be conscious. We must live a conscious, purposeful life. Not just an unconscious, selfish life to feel good, to feel comfortable and warm and fuzzy. That's death. That's not life. Feeling good is not life. Feeling good is not life. Being good is life. And it doesn't always feel good. Hard work, keeping your word, even if it hurts. Being honest, being fair to your neighbor, to a stranger. Helping somebody for no reason and knowing they could never pay you back. Doing good doesn't always feel good. It's not about the feelings we get. It's about what is right, not how it feels. If you live your life for your feelings, then you're going to live in all of your emotions, because all of your emotions are all the different colors of the rainbow of feelings. Happiness and sadness and pleasure and taste and all these things you indulge in, gluttony. And so I compel you to wake up in the morning or today and just take a step back and say, I desire, Lord, to be conscious. Please show me this consciousness. Forgive me for my sins. I could not help myself. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I was an idiot. Whatever your reason is, forgive me. I'm sorry. I desire to have this consciousness, Lord. And then just look around. Look around you and look at the trees and the sky and the mountains or the cars and the buildings and be amazed at the simplest things in life. A wristwatch. How does this wristwatch do everything it does? It's brilliant. It tells time. This one can tell my heartbeat. It can tell how many steps I've taken. It's amazing what we can appreciate in life if we just stop feeling sorry for ourselves. Feeling sorry for ourselves. I got a raw deal in life. I got a bad hand of cards. I slept in my car for a year, or 5 years, or 14 years. One of these guys that I know says to me, I was thinking, look at you, Alan, you've never suffered. I said, oh, really? You don't know, do you? I slept in my car for 14 years. Okay. You didn't have a baby die, did you? I did. See, no one knows what the other person's sufferings are. It happened on my birthday when I was 31 years old, or 30 years old. My wife gave birth to a baby that died. Wasn't meant for this world. Every one of us has some suffering that the other person doesn't know about and would not want to endure. These sufferings are mine. Your sufferings are yours. They were designed by the Creator in heaven to wake you up and make you conscious. Pay attention to me, he says. Stop thinking about your stupid self. This thing ain't what it's about. It's about something far more important, your soul. So, people think, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Yeah. I guess to some I may have been. But I've had my sufferings. We all punish ourselves endlessly, daily, hourly. Punish, 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 because we've believed the liar. We've believed the liar that it was okay to steal, that it was okay to lie, that it was okay to cheat, that it was okay to commit adultery, that it was okay to sin inside your own mind while you were sleeping or awake. We've believed the liar. I end it here. The liar lies. Stop believing him. Find your consciousness. Be still and know that he is God. Do the meditation exercise. It could be your last hope.
Sit in a straight back chair and put your right hand by your side. If you're using a phone, use the left hand to listen. And follow these instructions, which are very simple without effort. No concentration is necessary. Just simply do what I ask you to do. Close your eyes. Look at your eyelids. What do you see when you close your eyes and look at your eyelids? Surely there's little twinkles of light, different shapes moving across the screen of your mind. Is that so? You're not going to go to sleep. You're going to be fully aware. I just want you to look at your eyelids. Something magical happens when you observe those little pixels, whatever you want to call them, crossing the screen of your mind. Has all different colors, little sparkles. This is programming from within. If you just do this and keep your mind just on those little twinkling lights and little colors moving across the screen of your mind, just be aware of them, and you will find that you are in a refuge, meaning you cannot see your thoughts. You can hear my voice, but you've left your thoughts behind. That's very important. This is what's happening. No effort is required for that. You have left your thoughts behind. You are separate from your thinking. You are the thinker, not the thinking. You are in a refuge. Your thoughts cannot bother you here. That's why I call it a refuge. Something also magical is happening. Is it because your mind is no longer caught up in your thought? Your consciousness becomes pure, not sullied with the emotion-based thinking. And so it becomes like a lens. And that lens is the reason why light is shining through that lens of your consciousness onto the surface of your mind. And it's beginning to be a program to you. Please do not try to understand this. It's not uncoverable. It's impossible. But it's like magic when you see what's going to happen to you after this. Everything's going to change in a good way. Now, the next thing to do while you're looking at your eyelids and watching that little display is become aware of your right hand by your side. Become conscious of the first finger of your right hand. And just being conscious of it, just being aware of it, causes a little tingle in your first finger. If you become aware of the first finger, it will answer to your awareness, and it as if to say, I'm aware that you're aware of me. So the finger will answer the awareness with a little tingle. And that's converting energy from the mind into your body, beginning with your first finger of your right hand. And if you feel that tingle, say quietly to yourself, yes. And if so, go to the second finger, and it will do the same thing. The tingling may remain in the first finger, but you can also go to the second finger, and it will tingle also. And when it responds with a little tingle, to let you know it's there, you're aware of it, and that awareness has had an effect on it with a new kind of energy. And that tingling is an energy from within, counter to stress energy. Now the third finger, same way, and then say yes to yourself if you feel that. And then the pinky finger, the little finger, do that too. And then the thumb, and keep doing this as I talk to you. I'm not going to say much, but I've already told you, you have a pure consciousness, unsullied by emotionally based thoughts, which is your Waterloo, if you excuse me saying it that way. And so something is coming in from within you, something pure and good. And when you open your eyes and look around the room, you'll see that the room is brighter. And that's all I'm going to say. If you keep doing this for a little while longer, your body may feel warm and your solar plexus may feel opening up. These things could happen, but it's not necessary for the moment. Just the tingling of your fingers, the first finger, the second finger, and the third finger, and the little finger and the thumb, and just listen to my voice so that you stay in this state for just a few minutes. All I'm going to do is have you open your eyes in this state in a few minutes, and you will find that you're immune to stress, and everything will be brighter. And you'll find that your angers and hostilities simply disappear. It's almost like something has forgiven you, and it has. And then you find you can be more forgiving and patient with everybody. Now open your eyes and look around you. And you will see that if you're sitting in a room at night, you will notice that the room is brighter. And if you have problems with cigarette or smoking, or even eating, or any problems with drugs, you'll find that you won't want it. You've found the power to overcome the want to. There's a part of you that makes you want to do what you shouldn't. You want to stop smoking or drinking, but something in you that makes you want to, and you don't want to in the struggle. Don't struggle. Just follow the meditation exercise. Just a couple of times a day, that's all. Just wait and see what happens to you. I've suggested nothing. I have not spoken about God. I have maybe implied it, but not spoken about it. There's no religious language. And all you have to do is sit quietly. So when you separate from your thinking, so you become the thinker, not sullied by the thought, not caught up in the thoughts, you have reprieve. You have the means, have opened yourself to reprieve from all kinds of problems planted since you were a little boy or a little girl. Thank you for listening.